Buonasera. Welcome back everyone to the channel and to Geo Detective, your favourite online geography detective series. It's got to be, hasn't it? And I've got another really lovely one for you, another heartwarming one. It's a relative one, and this was sent in by Giacomo. Jack. It's just Jack. Hi Tom, my name is Giacomo and I'm Italian. Listen to this for a story. I wanted to ask your help to find where my grandpa was back in 1953. There he is, the dashing fellow, on his Vespa. I think that behind the picture there is a very nice and romantic story. My grandpa was a paediatrician and after the university was working in our hometown of Parma, in Italy. Meanwhile, my grandma was studying Spanish at the university, the same university, and she did a semester in a university in Spain, long before the Erasmus program was even invented. So he wanted to visit her in Spain and travel back with her to Italy on his Vespa. So he was going to tootle round the Mediterranean coast, pick her up, bring her back on the back of his Vespa. Quite ambitious. Now, Giacomo is not sure in which city she was studying, but this picture must have been taken by my grandma when they were coming back. So this has got to be somewhere in between Parma, no further south than Parma. It looks like it's on the coast, or is it a river? I've just thought it might be a river, but it's somewhere in between Parma and an unknown city in Spain. So basically, not much of Spain is ruled out, although it's obviously not northern Spain. Since I never met them, because they sadly passed away before I was born, I would like in the future to go where they were and maybe recreate the picture, if it's even possible. Well, it will be possible, Giacomo. Whether I'll be the one to find the location is another matter, but the bridge is quite likely to be a different bridge. A lot of these buildings might have been demolished. 1953 is longer ago than we think, but at least we do have this mountain line in the background. That's the clincher, because even though it's faded, we can see this undulating line of mountains there. That's going to be the clincher. And the best clue, of course, is just the fact that we're on a river. That's the most helpful thing, because when I'm searching along the coast on Google Earth, I can just go from river to river. Anyway, should we get into this? Where do we start? Well, let's open up Google Earth and have a look on the Med. Now, it is possible that Giacomo might have some information wrong. I'm not saying you do. You know, sometimes family stories get passed down and they're not quite right. And what I mean by that is, yeah, maybe they did do that. They did drive back from Spain, but equally, they might have gone on another trip down to southern Italy on this legendary Vespa. And this photo might be from that trip and it's got lost over, you know. I don't know, but it's worth mentioning because we might be in southern Italy. In my head, there's a very tiny chance, so I've got to bear that in mind. But then again, doubt is your enemy on these searches, as I learnt with the Californication pool. No, let's stick to the story. The story is gospel. The story is gospel. To me, this looks like Spain, but maybe more southern. So, I mean, we could be right round here. Seville, Granada, somewhere like that. It makes his trip even more impressive. You know, if he literally went from Parma all the way down to like Seville. But it does look to me pretty southern. I mean, look at some of these trees here. It looks very hot. The mountainside here, this is poor quality. I am going to colour it up in a second though. I'd also argue that this river at this particular spot isn't too far from the sea. Might be wrong, but I think the odds are the bigger the river gets, the more close you are to the sea, probably, unless it's a very long river. I am thinking this sort of general area. That's my first thought. Can't be in Mallorca, of course. Let's colour this photo up a bit, shall we? That is not what I need. Jesus. Is this an AI description of the photo? A photo of an Italian man? How the hell do they know that? Standing in front of a scooter. So you've worked out that he's Italian? How they've done that, I honestly don't know. But he's not standing in front of a scooter, which is the obvious thing about it. His Italianness is probably harder to detect. Here we go. This might not be the best job on the colorization. I mean, half his bag is red, the other half's blue. So unless he's dipped it in ink, I'd say it's not 100% accurate, but that looks pretty good. There's nothing surprising here color-wise, but it just helps with the vibe. It backs up the theory that these are sandy coloured historic buildings. There's nothing really here that we can Google. I think this particular search is going to be more of a Google Earth search, honing in on those rivers. We could Google historic Spanish towns on rivers, but you can kind of see them anyway. All you have to do is kind of go down the coast a bit. You can see the history in the styles of the buildings from above. You can see if there's a river. There's one. That's not our river. And you can quickly rule them out. So that's what I'm going to do. Starting, and this is the obvious place to start, the very western point of Spain, southern Spain, moving east. So what would our first city be? And bear in mind, we might be inland, but for now, I'm just going to go along the coast. So Huelva. No. Malaga. Do you know what? Yeah, I'm just going to go to the major towns and cities. There is a river here in Malaga, but it's too small. Oh, bugger it. Let's just go to Seville. Keep saying it. So remember the mountains in the background we need to see. I've got the terrain feature on, but I can't actually see any mountains to the north. That's quite surprising actually, but it's quite flat. So I don't think we're in Seville. Cordoba. What's Cordoba saying? You learn a lot doing this, if nothing else. You learn about these cities. There are mountains in the background of Cordoba. There is a river here, which looks roughly to be the right size. On our photo, where's the sun? I didn't think about the sun, did I? Hard to say. It looks pretty high up in the sky, judging from this shadow. Yeah. That's pretty high in the sky. I don't think the sun position is going to be that useful. Can't be Barcelona. Nah. Right, I'm going inland then. This doesn't look bad. Valladolid. Got the mountains over there. The river looks about the right size. This would have to be the bridge. Doesn't look anything like it. Unless they did get the ferry over to Parma and then over to Cagliari and then over, you know, maybe that's the thing. It's a long way, but maybe he was like, I'll come and take you home on my Vespa. And she was like, well, my bum's starting to hurt now. Maybe we do some island hopping, have a stroll along the ferry, you know. It's possible. So let's have a look at Parma. No, that was quick. Don't think it's Cagliari either. Google time. Spain's, and I know a lot of you will be shouting this at your screen, Spain's historic university cities. I know they're on a road trip, but this might have been taken where she did her semester. Okay, Spain, touche. Maybe we're not in you. Maybe we look somewhere else now. Because I'm just searching randomly now, going over the same places twice. Well, what's between Spain and Italy? France. Could this be the south of France? I guess so. It would have to be very, very south. I thought it looked more like Spain, but why not? I don't know about France, man. Nothing on the coast really adds up. One thing I haven't mentioned, of course, is the ruins of this old bridge. Would that still be there? Was that recently destroyed in World War II, perhaps? This is something we can Google. Probably to no avail, but... Historic bridge ruins. Italy. No. Okay. New day and... new era here potentially. Yesterday afternoon I did a lot more searching A lot more of that same old mundane searching. I went back to Spain and did a lot more inland searches, following a lot of the major rivers, stopping at any towns that could be the one, you know, considering them flipped and non-flipped. Not it, but I've got to say the buildings over here in Zamora, like the west of the country, looking pretty, yeah, stony and dry and sandy. So that's promising. Went back to Italy and did the same there. There were a few places that added up a bit, but no luck. And I think it's about time now that I got with the times and tried this Overpass Turbo. So this is just a way for me to search more accurately for things. So if I wanted to find a water fountain near a petrol station in the city of Rome, this will do that for me. Now it does use code, which is a slight worry because I am awful at IT. I mean, I got a U in GCSE IT just because I played mini-clip games all day, but I'm hoping that with a bit of help from YouTube tutorials and a bit of trial and error, I can get this to work. And in terms of our photo, we're by a river, but one thing I haven't mentioned at all is it does look like that is a castle, doesn't it? It's got a flag up there. I have been thinking that for a while. These are normal buildings down here, but the way that wall is there, I think that is a castle. And it should still be there, why wouldn't it? Unless there's been an earthquake. But even then, it's stood for how many years? Castle within, 800 metres of a river, within half a mile of a bridge. That's what I'm thinking. If we can make it a major river, a long river, over 50-mile long river, even better. But we'll see how I get on, because this might be tricky. Right. That's castles in that area. There's a lot of castles in Italy. I will just say that. Now, historic castle in Italy. That might take a while. Too busy to handle your request. That was too big, I think. There's too many castles in Italy. Right, I need to figure out how to do castle by river. See you in 2 hours. Right, we're trying out another new thing now. Write me a prompt for... there. Oh, this might work. This might just work. God, the age we live in, man. Well, let's try it. Yeah, I knew it wouldn't work, see? I knew it wouldn't work. Okay, Mr. GPT has corrected it. How about that? Oh, it's working. This is exciting. So this is going to give me, all being well, all the castles in Italy that are within 800 metres of a river, and it hasn't worked. Have we got it? Yes. Okay, this is just Calabria. We're doing it region by region. Right, let's export that. Open that up with Google Earth. Bam! And here we go, we've got them all. First one, no. Second one, where's the river? No. Third one, no. Don't think so. No, no, and finally, no. So that took no time at all. Is there a better way we could do this? Maybe, but I think this is a pretty decent way of doing it. So, Calabria, done. Basilicata next. And no. But it's good that that sort of building is counted as a castle. It's basically, and I did check this, anything that could loosely be described as a castle is in there. It's not just your big, grand, stereotypical castles. It's a palace, a basilica, a stately home type thing. Moving on, and I'm going to speed this up until I get it or not. Yep, I've just gone through all these southern-ish states. Campania, Puglia, Lazio, and all the others. Leaving just these northern ones. I just don't think it's not northern Italy, but I'll come back to northern Italy if I don't have any luck in Spain. So let's head over to Spain and do the same thing. I am thinking, which many of you may be as well, about a better possible search that I could do. What if that isn't a castle? Yeah, what if it's, shiz, it might just be a wall. Yeah, city walls we've got there. So we can do it all again with that if needs be. Right, it looks like we can do a ruined bridge, and I'm just trying Italy, the whole of Italy. Come on. Oh, it's worked. Has it? Yes, it has. Look at that. Ruined bridges in Italy. Right. Oh my God, yeah. Oh my God, they're sinking. Look at that. That is so trippy. It looks like they're sinking, but they're just so nonchalant about it. It's like a dream. There's Jemima Puddle Duck as well, in the dream. What else have we got in this dream? Just a few blokes with a lorry down by the riverbank, half a barrel, and a cock. I'm really enjoying this, by the way. This is so much fun, this new method. Some of you will say it's too easy, but it's just saving me time, and it means I can tackle harder challenges going forward. I say that, I might not have any luck at all, even with this method. Over to Spain. Okay, I've tweaked it so that the bridge, or the ruined bridge, has to be on a waterway, on a river. So let's try that in Spain, because it's not taking long. Okay, let's get these on Google Earth. Okay, first search in Spain using Overpass Turbo. Unfruitful, but I thought it would be, don't worry. Right, check this piece of code out. Castles within 600 metres of a bridge on a river in urban areas with more than 2,000 inhabitants. It's got to be, it's probably way more, but just in case I put 2,000. So it's searching for both of these, or city walls within the same. If this don't bloody get it, I honestly don't know what to do. So let's run this and hope it works. Sadly, my elaborate scripts and their questionable coding just weren't playing ball. So I simplified them and simplified them and simplified them again until I was left with another very simple command. Right, I've got city walls in Spain. Then I zoomed in on a random marker and something strange happened. Oh, that looks good. I've just zoomed in on one. That looks, just looking at that, how good does that look? Got the bend there. That all lines up. Where the hell is that? Tortosa. I'll be damned if this isn't it. I will be damned. Don't believe it. Let's just check. I always do this. It's it. It is bloody friggin' it. That is insane how that happened. Just to confirm, that building there is the giveaway. There it is. Right, there's so much to unpack here. First of all, why didn't I find that earlier? Because I did go up the Ebro. Here's the footage of it. That is really annoying. Really annoying. I've just dismissed that for some reason, and I don't know why. But the main thing here is to say I was having no luck doing complicated queries, was I? And my prompts got shorter and shorter and shorter and shorter until I was like, F it. A city wall in Spain. Is that too much to ask? No, but it did result in this nigh on 100 results, right? And genuinely, I couldn't do it again if I tried. Where is it? I don't know. There. Why did I hone in on that one? Because it's quite red. Absolute mad fluke that is, but I just saw the bend and the distance that the bridge is from the bend, and then obviously the city walls appear in exactly the right position, and there it is. Unbelievable. If I can get this to work properly, this overpass thing, it's gonna be a revelation for me. It's gonna grab bits of information and lay them out for me neatly. I didn't manage to get all that information neatly laid out for me as I wanted today, but I did have a stroke of luck. Now, what's going on with these bridges? All three of them. Oh, I'm buzzing. I am high. Not literally. Those days are long gone. Pont de l'Estat. Right, here we go. Let me just say though, Giacomo, we found it. We have, sorry, I forgot about you a bit. We found this location, roughly speaking, and you and your family were correct. The story is true. It was in Spain. I'm sorry I ever doubted it. I did spend time looking in southern Italy, and I apologise for that. We don't know where your grandmother went to university. It wouldn't have been in Tortosa, I don't imagine. But they're travelling up the coast, so it could have been in Valencia, Murcia, Granada, Cordoba, Seville, Cadiz, any of those places. But they've stopped off in the historic walled city of Tortosa. Looks beautiful, never heard of it. Let's finally find out about this bridge, because you need to stand on, well, you need to stand on this bridge. But I really, really want to find out what's going on with the other two bridges, because it's just not adding up. It's not making sense. Right, this is confusing, but the main bridge that we were just on was built in the late 19th century. It was blown up during the Civil War, Spanish Civil War, and rebuilt, right? This was another bridge, Pont de la Quinta, built a few years earlier, which was a toll bridge. The monument to the Battle of the Ebro stands on the remains of one of the bridge's pilasters. Right there. We can bloody see it. There. Why was I thinking this was new, this bridge, when we first popped out on it? It's older than your granddad. So he was literally right here. There's no two ways about it. Might be a slightly hazardous photo to take, but that is it. I mean, they've added some casing onto there, but you could pretty much slap the metal that he was parked next to. Oh no, we might be at the next one. Sorry, we need to know which one it was. Was it this one? Yeah, it's that one. Make sure you get the right one, Giacomo. This one here. But what's really confusing is that. My best guess is that that was sort of rebuilt. The ruin was rebuilt into a more concrete structure for this memorial statue, whereas the actual ruin was made of stone. That was the confusion. My head can breathe again. Wow, we did it. I'm chuffed. I'm bloody chuffed. And there's the mountain line in the background. Giacomo's granddad solved. Where did you put that marker, Tom? There. It was quite far north in the end. That's annoying. I don't like that that's there, but there we go. A new streak begins. Giacomo, thank you so much for your photo and lovely story that accompanied it. Why aren't we that romantic these days? No phones. You just say, I'm coming. I'll see you in a week. Scooter might break down. I'll have no way of contacting you. Doesn't matter. Legend. Thanks for watching, everyone. Hope you enjoyed that. It was quite a simple one in terms of the search. It was just about grinding. Although I grinded too much. I should have gone in on the city walls castle thing earlier. Hindsight's a wonderful thing. But we got there. If you have a photograph like this one that's in your family, a mystery that has some sort of heartwarming story that goes with it, please email them in to the email in the description below. I can't reply to you all, and it might be months or even years before I make the video, but if it's good enough, it'll make the cut, just like this one did. Take care, everyone. See you for the next one.